Hi. This is the part where I usually go ding with my chimes. I usually ring my chimes here, but I left them at home. I left my bells at home, my Tibetan prayer bells. But anyway, happy to be here. Democracy TV. God bless cable access TV. We're going to start off with the astrological stuff, because the sun is in Virgo now. Yeah, welcome to Psychic Frank's Mystery School. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. If you want to get in touch with me, there's the email address right there, Psychic Frank's Mystery School, without the apostrophe S. And yeah, I'm starting to get some mail, and yeah, people are loving the Donald Trump chart, and so I actually have a chart for the United States of America that we're going to discuss today. I did it just before I left the house, and I put it here, and now I can't find it. Oh, well, it'll show up. Okay, so September's a recovery month. Everything, right now we still have more Virgo, more month left. We have, there's a friend of mine, he lives on a fixed income, used to say, there's a lot of money left at the end, there's a lot of month left at the end of the money. Yeah, I remember that. Rest in soul, in peace, Richard, wherever you are, on his journey. But he was a funny guy. Yeah, it's one thing about getting close to 70, you know, it really thins out the competition along with your friends, you know. A lot of my buddies are all gone. You know, around 50, you got to make some changes. You know, Denise Dory has a show, the first and the third, at 6 o'clock of every month, a Thursday. The first and the third. I'm here the second and the fourth Thursday at 5. Denise is here the first and the third at 6. Same room here, 76. Channel 76, and her show is called Liberal Buzz. And we were talking the other day, because she has a show, and we both write scripts and try and work on following them. But something happens when you get in here and the camera's running. You know, you're on tape. It's easy to get off tape. It's easy to get off your script. So you know, only God is perfect. There's never going to be a perfect show. I'm always going to leave thinking, oh, I didn't do that. I wanted to cover that. But I do want to cover a lot of this astrology stuff. So we'll get it, because a lot of people like that, and especially how it's going to be affecting, here's Putin, Mueller, and Donald Trump. Yeah, he's actually right now, today is the 24th. Of Thursday, the 24th of August. And we have the sun 3 degrees Virgo. Mars is still in Leo until we get to the 5th of September. Yeah, 5th of September, everything changes. Mars enters Leo. Mars enters Virgo, leaves Leo and enters Virgo, thank you. And then also Mercury goes direct. Whew. That's going to be a good one. That's at 7:30. Actually, I have to look that date up in this book, because the calendar doesn't have it's the new East Coast version of the astrology, Llewellyn's thing. Somebody gifted me this, but they gave it to me. Somehow Rainbow Grocery got the East Coast instead of the Pacific Coast time. So, but this one's right. So every time I want to find the exact date, it has a little ephemeris on the back. So what did I say? So we have Mars right now is, let's see what we get here. Oh yeah, so in September, 7:30 p. It says, let me see. Mars, okay, September 5th. Here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's a Tuesday, and Mercury goes direct 4:30 a.m. early in the morning on Tuesday the 5th. And that's when, you know, you'll see the results of all the, picture a magnifying glass. You know, when Mercury's retrograde, the planet of information, gets turned the opposite, turned around. And then outward communication is all debauched, and inner communication is like really magnified. So it's a good time to get into things, get deep. So as I said, September's a very special recovery month. It's August is the big, we recover from the big eclipse. Yeah, just because, we live in an instant gratification society, so we have to remind ourselves, what we did in itself was a good thing. What was it all about is sort of reciting, I am an unlimited being accepting from an unlimited universe in an unlimited way. Excuse me. All about celebrating our heart chakra and our unlimitedness of the heart. And I like to throw in its ability to, its magnetic power. I think because of all the iron, I don't know what it is, blood is iron, blood is joy. Joy, I've always said, whenever you cut yourself, joy, where are you going? Come back, joy. So Mars right now, as we speak, is... here it is. I need a secretary here. I need an assistant. Okay. Mars, right this magic moment, the 24th of August, is 2759. Leo. Let me see. 22 actually, 22 Leo 26, and Donald Trump, did I say Donald Trump? Donald Trump's chart, his Mars is 26, so yeah, this latest unhinged bit has been on his Mars. He's like totally skitsy, Donnie Two Scoops. Yeah, well, I hope the prison asylum they put him in, Allenwood is where he's going. That's the federal prison. I think he wants to act crazy so he can get an insanity plea. The sanity clause. Remember the Marx Brothers movie, what was it, Duck Soup? He goes, there's no sanity clause. He talks about the sanity clause, and then he says, there's no Santa Claus. It's sanity clause. Yeah, I think he's really off the wall. He's like boom, boom, boom. It comes. I just flashed on all these. I have a friend since '68 who's a retired CEO of a big private mental hospital in Massachusetts, and he said his biggest job is explaining to people. Most people are not crazy. They're not. And he said it sums up his whole life's mission. Is a lot of times but the ones that are really do need confinement. Boy, could you believe about the prison industry? Stockholders in the prison industry, man, you got some bad karma going on, this whole thing with a pile. Okay, let's get back to getting this whole, the next big event is the Pisces full moon, September 6th. The Pisces full moon, it's all about sensitivity. So the full moon is all about emotional charm, highlighting senses. Then Mercury goes retrograde. Lots of introspection. The first 5 days of September, Mercury will conjunct Mars. They will come together in the late degrees of Leo. So look for the late degrees, 27, 28, 29 Leo, and that's where the action is. That will activate everything that's that started in the eclipse. So I believe that Mueller, oh, God bless Mueller, he's like, even looks like Dick Tracy with that square jaw. Where are you, Robert Mueller? Yeah, the sun in Virgo now. He's got a whole mess of Virgo in his chart. So actually the sun is right now on his Jupiter. Yeah, they say by Thanksgiving now. Oh yeah, and that dossier that's been, this guy's been, I forget his name, I made note of it. His name is, we'll get to that later. It's for real. It's for real, and it's lurid. It's G-rated. It's not G-rated. You're going to have your parents' permission to listen to it because it's. I believe what's the Russian the KGB. Is not below using prostitutes for their espionage and things, especially with ego-driven billionaires on the skid, wannabe billionaires on the skids. That's what was about in the 70s. Donald Trump couldn't get a bank loan, so he had to go to these the Russian mafia, and they played him like a violin. They've been grooming him on the odds that, okay, so what if we lost, wasted some money and energy, at least, I think there's a few people that these guys know. So I think Russians are way ahead of psychic phenomenon development. That's another story. Yeah, so for the next month now, with this Mars and, because in September, see, right now, the first 5 days we have Mars and Mercury, but then be aware, remind yourself of your affirmations, and then on the 5th goes direct, the enters Virgo. It'll be nice and settle things down. Yeah, they're going to really calm things down, because right now it's we have to. A lot of people don't have faith, and we have to just trust that Robert Mueller's, but he's incorruptible. A man cannot be corrupted. I mean, he's like squeaky clean, and you could tell by his energy. And when you look at his birth chart, he's got Mercury conjunct Chiron, conjunct Mars, 16 degrees. So he's totally meticulous. He dots his I's, crosses his T's. He's impeccable. So remind yourself, what were your intentions around the 21st? What did you affirm? Yeah. Oh, another big thing that's happening on the 25th, tomorrow, at let me see right here. It's in the afternoon. So that's August 25th. Saturn goes direct for the last time in Sag. Saturn stationary direct 5:09 in the morning. Again, as we get our day going tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, 5:09 a.m. here on Pacific time, Saturn goes direct. So what it says here in the Mountain Astrologer is, I like Emily Trickus' writing for the Mountain Astrologer. I like to give people credit for when I refer to their articles. August 25. After moving backwards through Sagittarius for nearly 5 months, Saturn stations direct at 21 degrees 10 minutes Sag at 5:08 a.m. on Friday. This event gives us the green light for projects and business decisions that have been considering or trying to start since early April. The moon tends to lends her emotional support for new beginnings through an optimistic conjunction with Jupiter in Libra, through an at 8:31 a.m. The enterprising sextile of Saturn, 9:06 a.m., and the invigorating sextile to Mars at 1:04. Okay, we don't need to do too much detail there. But I'm looking forward to this September Pisces full moon, because that's when September allows us to about activating and bring it back into action, whatever's been dormant. I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. Then mid-September we get Mercury and Mars in Virgo. That's all about being, you could count on, once again, reliable. That's Mueller in a nutshell. He's reliable, like Old Faithful, you can rely on Old Faithful gonna explode, Well, that's a crazy, similar, metaphor, but you know what I'm saying? You picture the most reliable, like the sun. You can rely on the sun coming up every morning. I was just thinking about, this moron Trump, and that other moron Kim Jong Un there in Korea, North Korea. They should show them a film of what a nuclear winter is. It's that's all, folks. Nothing grows, no light. There'll be the planet will lose our ozone layer. I mean, it would be curtains. There's no coming back from a nuclear winter. I mean, you could dig yourself a hole in the ground. I'm not saying this to freak us out, but as I said, there's no nuclear way to get rid of nuclear waste. I watched it on the Jamie Oliver show the other day with Denise, and it was appalling. I back in the 70s, I got here in 72, and I remember getting in a van and we all went out to Mount Diablo to protest the building of that nuclear plant. So we got one within 50 miles. I could see Mount Diablo from on my way back from Safeway on Buchanan. When I'm climbing that hill on Buchanan next to the Armory, I could see a clear view. I could tell what kind of day it is if I could see Mount Diablo. Well, and Jamie Oliver said something about it's like building a house and leaving out the plumbing and the toilets. It's building up. We've got like so much nuclear waste now, and we just forgot about how to. And we keep on and Trump wants to make more. He says we don't have enough. Excuse me if I get I'm passionate, especially, there's a lot of stars out there, and we'll just end up on another one. That's why I like James, Larry Dossey, Dr. Larry Dossey, Lipton, Bruce Lipton, and even Greg Braden, even though he's a big sellout, because he knows damn well that cannabis is a miracle medicine that cures cancer and all kinds of diseases. And, many veterans, a suicide rate, the PS, whatever they come back with. And cannabis really helps them, and they can't get insurance with that. So I think everybody who's doing well and can go into these cannabis clubs and spend hundreds of dollars for their weed, buy some for the vets, buy some and get a vet, adopt a vet. Adopt a vet. If you can do so well that you've got unlimited, what do they call it now? These kids call it disposable income. If you've got a disposable income, dispose some of it on these vets, man. Find a vet. They're easy to find. And get in touch with Psychic Frank's Mystery School. I belong to Axis of Love. It's a cannabis patient's advocate. We're advocates for just that thing. Yeah, because, 2015 included the cannabis thing that they're trying to, that their big business is shredding it up into tiny little pieces. Part of it in there is like every cannabis dispensary is by that law of that permit there, whatever it was, 215 that passed, supposed to like give so much to compassion. They call it compassion to people who can't afford it, and they need the medical cannabis for all variety of diseases and conditions, chronic conditions, and they don't do it. And who's going to enforce them? And of course people are, they go for the cheapest prices or whatever. But there's a lot of people doing really, really well in this city, and they can definitely afford to, what do they say, buy. A friend of mine up in Oregon said she's really appalled because she's just coming onto the cannabis thing, and she knows a lot of vets, and she's just said, it should be like buy a joint, give a joint. I said, well, you're right. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but keep that in mind too. I think the whole idea of adopting a vet or somebody who needs cannabis, it's an amazing medicine. Okay. Louise Hay says, I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking, then problems fix themselves. I love Louise Hay, but I would even delete that. And delete that word problems. And of course, I would delete that word problems. The universe abhors a void, and I would replace that void with challenge. Yeah, Challenges. It changes everything. Who wants to have problems? I have challenges. Every challenge is a chance to grow. It's a gift. Well, what I was saying, like Larry Dossey, Bruce Lipton, and even this guy, this sellout, Greg Braden. I like him. He's a good guy, but I wish he would, he knows that Hay House is, brainwashed about cannabis. I knew Louise Hay. I met her several times. We really got instant friends, and she loved her cannabis. Now she's 100, and I don't know what they did to her, but it's not the Louise Hay I used to know. And the people that have taken over Hay House are just teaching what Louise Hay used to say not to do. That Susie Orman character, God, is she a witch? Louise Hay used to say, spend your last dollar and show the universe I have faith in what's to come. Susie Orman, I remember watching her show once or twice. She's still on PBS. Your PBS money go to Susie Orman. That's worse than Yan Can Cook, but I'm not going to go there. Well, I'm a vegan. I don't like to see animal flesh being, rabbits being chopped up and shit, But anyway, One Mind. That's the name of Isa's show. Yeah, check out the schedule for Bayvac. Go to SFC/TV. Richard Rand's Liberal Buzz. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of talent here in public access. And thank you for supporting us. Tell your friends. It's a participatory universe. Consciousness counts is what I'm saying at. Consciousness creates. This field the field simply mirrors the quality of your feelings as the experiences of our lives. In the world of another time, words of another time, 250-year-old text describe, he talks about the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that. It's funny how they were found and lost again. There were one or two bright things in them, but for the most part, they just assured me that there was no ancient times did not have a key to everything. I mean, they were like ridiculous. They were totally like you couldn't even wipe your butt on a certain day of the week. I mean, with a certain hand. I mean, once I went to the Laguna, there's that Zen Center on Laguna and Page. And I've been there in my early 30s when all these Tibetan monks from old guys. I went there, paying $10 to get these amazing pearl seeds of wisdom from these guys who were there with children when Tibet they were little monks when the Tibet was slaughtered by the Chinese. When I met them, they were like 100, close to it, and I'm sure they're not on the planet anymore. And then one day I thought, I'm feeling humble. I'm humbling myself, and I don't know anything. I'm waking up teachable, and there's this sign there that said, it was like $10. It's a 2-hour tour, an introduction to this whole Zen Center thing. So I decided, I'm going to do this. So I got up, I signed up, and I went there that day early in the Saturday morning. It was like, I don't know, a dozen or so people, 15 people, and we took a tour of the whole place, and it was really good until we got to this vast room, and that's where they hit you. They called the Rule, R-U-L-E, the Rule Room. You could go there and, and take the tour yourself. You might like it. I do not like rules. I think rules are made to be broken. I do not like rules. It's just the way I am. I'm a moth in the fabric of society, as most 11s are. It is easy to discount the power of things through the clarity of wisdom. Anyway, I don't want to chop this up but trust me, we're evolving. We're evolving. Consciousness counts. Swami Vivekananda, I found his book yesterday, Wednesday at the library. They have the sale, and I found it for $1. It's from 1976, and he says something in the very first page. That's why I had to get it. He talks about the best definition of this kind of yoga Bhakti yoga or something, is perhaps that given in that abiding love which the non-discriminating have for the fleeting objects of the senses. May I have the same sort of love for thee. May not that pleasure vanish from my heart as I think of thee. We see that a strong love of men who do not know better have a sense object for sense objects. They have this love for sense objects, like Donald Trump, for money, dress, for their wives, their children, all their possessions. What a tremendous clinging they have for all these things. So much with this definition, says the sage. You know, before I get back to astrology and all these charts, you know, Scorpio, which I am, and get ready, Scorpios, because in October, Jupiter's going into Scorpio for a whole year. So y'all make room for all the gifts Jupiter's going to be giving you. Jupiter's going to be bringing you a lot of gifts. But what's going on where we are now, because Scorpios are really cause and effect type people. Most people just fester on the effects, and then the effects keep, you know, going more and more intently. So here we go. Okay, so oh my God, I grabbed the wrong book on the way out of the house. Okay, but I remember. I don't need, oh, is this it? No, I actually left the book at my house, and I had underlined it all in red. See, that's why I came in with this thing that I was going to follow a script, and I left the script at home. Okay, so where we are now, it started, so I had all the right dates and everything, but it was Nixon. Nixon is why we can't retire at 65 anymore, because he decided to tax Social Security. Then Ronald Reagan came along and then totally finished off the job. Well, I'll be back here. I'll be back here, God willing, on the 14th and the 28th of September. Oh, excuse me, I dropped some papers on the floor. Oh yeah, this says a federal judge's husband was buying private prison stock as she was putting immigrants behind bars. 2008, Pottsville, Iowa, immigration raid. Yeah, she had an immigration raid of 400, the biggest raid in all the raids of immigrants. And yeah, this is a federal judge. This is concentration camps. That's what that's what Donald Trump is doing now. They want to, you know, the private prison industry. They don't care about human beings. They just see them as their dividends. In the investment, people that would invest in these are, I guess, the same souls that were around during slavery, you know. And then Bill Clinton sort of finished it off in '92 by giving Wall Street permission to speculate, you know, do these. I had all these facts. Oh, could this be it? Could this be it? Oh, I think this is it. Oh yeah, it said. Why you want to support war? It said Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, Boeing, Raytheon support our CEOs. Don't question war. That's who's making Halliburton. Boy, they must have made $1 trillion. Okay, so did you know that before '73 it was illegal in the U.S. to profit from the healthcare system? Healthcare Maintenance Organization Act of 1973, passed by Nixon, changed everything. The health insurance business is now literally a racket. The downfall of the American healthcare system falls squarely on the shoulders of former President Richard M. Nixon. In 1973, Nixon did a personal favor for his friends and campaign financier Edgar Kaiser. Ring a bell? Kaiser Permanente. Then president and chairman of Kaiser Permanente. I think the rationale of why these people do this, why they know these are despicable, dirty, dirty deeds, and they're going to be really, really rich off of this, but in their heart they know it's wrong. And I think it's simple why they do it, because their rationale is, well, somebody's going to do it, it might as well be me. I think that's it. I don't think we should overthink that. I think that's, and then if we go further back, George Carlin said, war is rich old men protecting their properties by sending middle class and lower classes of young men to die. Jeff Sessions deemed too racist to be confirmed as a federal judge in 1986 by Ronald Reagan. Was confirmed as Attorney General in 2017 by Donald Trump. The con, he can out, Don is, as I said on my last show, I remember saying, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. No, New York's a mob town. It really is, and I can see how. But he could, he thrived there. By laundering money for the Russian mob. I love this part of the movie where it all starts to come together, and then you watch now, just around Thanksgiving. I said it earlier, around the September 6th, and then when we get to the as I said earlier, as we get on in that. What did I say here? Yeah, 9/20 is when Venus and Mercury, the full force of the new moon. Things are going to be reliable, and I was raised by Italians, and crazy Italians. My grandparents, didn't speak English, and I used to understand and speak Italian early, but I've forgotten all that. They used to have like every nationality, I guess they have these sayings, and there was one, they're kind of gross, but if you spit in the air, it's going to come out on your face. It's like, but it's true, Donald, all this spit Donald's been spitting in the air is better close his pie hole. I think he's acting especially crazy, and I think it's an act. Like I said earlier, I'm good friends with a psychiatrist, and he used to tell me this biggest thing was convincing people they're not crazy, because so many people go to psychiatrists saying they're crazy, and actually they're not. Although there are definitely, thanks to Ronald Reagan, once again, there was not these really sick people who need help. They have to become convicted of a felon to get into a state hospital, to get into a psych ward, to get any kind of help. That's how wrong we are. Every time I come up here, I pass all these. I walk a lot of the times, and I pass all these tent cities, with people with dogs and kids living on the sidewalk, and it's like, I remind myself of what becomes of the brokenhearted as I walk this land of broken dreams. I have visions of many things. There's no reason in this country how people who work 3 jobs are still have to have food stamps, Medicare. They can't afford to live. Something's so wrong now where CEOs make, golden parachutes make this amazing, obscene amounts of money, and yet minimum wage people, there's college should be free. It's just everything back asswards. We got the cart behind the horse now. Well, you got to understand that, the pendulum's we have to have where we are now. So really, it's important to be grateful. It doesn't mean you're a stupid, sadistic crackpot if you say, I'm grateful for this. Can I have some more? Yes. No, it's not like that at all. But understand that we were blessed to incarnate. Everybody's grateful at a banquet, but now is when it really is important for us to understand what's going on. Be grateful. Let us reflect. We'll talk about this next time, because I'm still getting through this Lama Sudra Das. And I was just I was sitting around the corner wasting a few minutes, and I was reading this stuff, and he says, like I've always said, we are creating every moment. We create a self, and don't wait until you're on your deathbed or get this bad news that you're about to have life and death surgery, and then think, well, this would be a good time to Let's start second. Work now in making every moment spiritual, seeing in every situation, put a better spin on it. Understand that, okay, this is what we have to go through. Well, it's bothered me because I can't underline this book because it's all about this. Dharma just means an appreciation of life. Now, Buddha didn't start out to create Buddhism, just like Christ didn't want to create Christianity. If you have to tell someone you're a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist or whatever, well, I'm a spiritualist, so I deal with all of them. You should just know by the way you're acting, by the way you live your life. Your life is a prayer. What do you do do you treat everybody as good as you want to be treated? Then you're a true Christian. If you follow the true Christ message of love, then which is the opposite of what people who call themselves Christian. Now, so I was saying, if you have to explain to people why you're a Christian and yours is a better path, then honey, you're in a cult. You're not in a religion. You're in a cult, and you need to be deprogrammed. In other words, you need some knowledge. That there's no path any better. Any path done right, done right is the path. Like Abraham Lincoln said. And then, as I said, we go. Maturity is when you have the power to destroy someone who did you wrong, but you just breathe and walk away and let life take care of itself and take care of them. I've had to do that a lot. I learned that later in life. As I said, I'm hitting 70, so I'm almost 69, so I'm getting up there. The world is my country, and mankind are my brethren, and doing good is my religion. Thomas Paine said that. The founder. Yeah, Tiki Torch. Nazis. Oh, Dick Gregory. I was so sad. I'm not a crybaby. I have no planets in Aries. Actually, Aries is an intercepted constellation in my birth chart. So as a child, I had a postnasal drip, and I was always that kid throwing up. And then when I studied with Louise Hay, I realized postnasal drip is swallowed tears. But what I'm saying, I'm not given to tears. I actually was brought to tears when I heard Dick Gregory passed, because I grew up with Dick Gregory. I remember my parents telling me what an evil man he was, because they were racist, totally. They weren't white supremacists. They were more inclinations to organized crime, mafia shit. But they would definitely, my adopted parents were crazy people. Died young, lived fast, died young. Pills and liquor, I learned, and I almost followed in their path. There's this book in recovery called "It'll Never Happen to Me," and it's true. A lot of people, who run away from these abusive homes, they become the same thing that they ran away from. Dick Gregory's, and all of a sudden I was just so sad. I think my bird even what's wrong, Frank? Yeah, I remember one of my favorite stories is Dick Gregory when he, around 20 years ago, I caught him on one cable show being interviewed, and he said, America's never had a cleansing. It's like you work in a really horrible job like slaughtering pigs. Pig's blood seems to be a current topic. Enough said. But Dick Gregory was talking, say there was a time in England when butchers couldn't be on a jury because they were deemed too brutal and too obsessed, too into murder, too into, I forget exactly why, but but if you chopped up, were a butcher, you were deemed immoral and couldn't be on a London jury. Interesting, isn't it? Just saying, meat is murder. So Dick Gregory said, you're working in this pig factory and you're slaughtering pigs all day, and then you go home and you smell like dry pig's blood, and your wife said, honey, we're going to a party, and you put on a tuxedo and you go to the party, you don't wash or shower or anything, and people go, you smell weird. Well, that's America. That's America. Thank you, Dick Gregory. That's an image. That's an image. That's where America is right now. And I love that clip they're showing because I was adopted too, and I have no idea about my birth father. Rumor has it he was a Polish Jewish guy because they always used to call me a dumb Polak Jew, so I was imagining that they knew something about him. But I did find out that my birth mother was a full-blooded Italian, but I don't know the male part of my genetic. So I was watching the clips of what's his name, Dick Gregory, God bless Mr. Gregory, and he says, Bin Laden, I'm looking for my dad. I'm not looking for Bin Laden. I'm looking for my birth father. I was like, I'm with you, brother, great Dick Gregory. Well, I know, as well as I know, I'm touching a wooden plastic desk here. I will see this man when my time comes. In the meantime, I'm just grateful to have escaped my prison in New York, a.k.a. the family that adopted me. Tried to kill me when they found out I was gay. Yeah, what this president is doing with the LGBT community, he's a con artist, a switch and bait guy. If Russians hacked our election, why aren't the Dems calling for paper ballots? Good point. Pointing out that the white supremacists had a permit is like pointing out that 9/11 bombers had plane tickets. That's another good one. Yeah, don't be neutral now, like Heather Heyer said, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. We all, every one of us need to be just totally out. This is like, in Saudi Arabia, just recently, I don't know how many young girls, teenage girls, were beheaded because they flirted with young men their age. I mean, and this is like every president, Obama, saintly Obama, right, started with, what is it, after Reagan. I think Reagan was pretty chummy with them, of course. But of course, the Bushes, big oil people, they were right there, best friends, BFFs with the Saudis. And women are, it's a Sharia law there. Yeah, Sharia law is all about the law of Islam. Here are some of the tenets. A government based on religious doctrine. Women have fewer rights than men. Rejecting science in favor of religious doctrine. No separation between church and state. Religion is taught in schools. Abortion is illegal. Homosexuality is outlawed. And penalty is murder. Oh, women, it's like... And of course, they had a parade for Donald Trump because he thinks women are for, he's a guy. You see how he was stalking? They're showing this. You can't help but miss it if you cannot miss it. This Hillary Clinton's book came out, and there's this video of seeing how remember how Trump just lurched around her. And she just ignored him, and followed script. She had turned around and said, off, blank off, mother, what'd you do, or had some kind of a human, non-android reaction, she would have been the president. No matter what, she would have won if she had shown any bit. But as I said, Bill Clinton, I was looking for the thing about Bill Clinton opened up this whole, in the Banking Act of 1933, also known as the Glass-Steagall, S-T-E-G-A-L-L, the Banking Act of 1933 effectively separated risky speculative investments banking from traditional FDIC protected functions like issuing mortgages and small business loans. The repeal of this law by Bill Clinton in 1999 led directly to the toxic mortgage-filled meltdown of 2008, the root cause of our current economic situation. And yet that slimy SOB, everybody thinks he's like, he's Libra men, Well, everything's got a shadow. I'm not bashing Libra men, but he's got just like Mick Jagger's got 10 planets in Leo conjuncting his rising sign, north and south of his ascendant. Well, Bill Clinton, I don't know the exact number, but he's got a Libra rising and a whole mess of Libra. So, yeah, he's just... saccharine, sickening Libra. Yeah, he's been smoking pot every day, and he's totally been denying people with who need cannabis. He's I feel like I need to go home and take a shower just by mentioning Bill Clinton's name. That's how I despise that. But anyway. Yeah, and did you know that before 73 it was illegal to profit from healthcare? Yeah, so we could thank Nixon, Ronald Reagan. I'm looking for what Reagan did. Yeah, I wrote that down too. And yeah, oh boy, the Reagan list of... Okay, let's go to JFK's favorite quote. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in time of moral crisis, preserve their neutrality. That was from Dante's Inferno. Desmond Tutu said, if you're a mouse and an elephant's got his foot on your tail, you don't help you don't move the elephant's foot, and you allow him to keep his foot on that mouse's tail. The mouse would not appreciate your neutrality. No, this is I'm not no way making light of this. If you are not totally, oh yeah, what's been going on behind the scenes now? Just the laws are being passed left and right. Our parks are being privatized. I've made a list of what's going on. Yeah, Trump's crusade against undocumented immigrants are nothing but a scam to fill up the private prison industries. Shareholders demand money on their, they don't, I don't understand that. I don't want to understand that. Okay, on Monday, April 3rd, 2017, President signed into law 69, which nullifies the Department of Interior's Fish and Wildlife Services in Alaska now. They're on their own. In 83, Bill 83 there he signed, multiplies the Department of Labor's rule titled Clarification of, nullifies the Department of Labor's rule classification of keeping accurate records for each recorded injury and illness. So if you get sick on the job or toxic poisoning, you can't there's no reporting that now. They're going to have child labor. Leave it to Trump, and we'll have 5-year-olds in sweatshops, going blind, making things with candle wax, so that there'd be no electricity. I mean, he's draconian. It's like Dickens. It's beyond draconian. This is like Charles Dickens. This is the man is crazy. He's out of his mind. I don't think he's crazy, as I was saying. I think he would like us to think he's crazy, but of course he's the Antichrist. In 1228, that's another one. 1228 is another bill he signed, HJ 1228, which provides for the appointment of members of the Board of Directors of the Office of Compliance to replace members whose terms expired during, so they want to get a whole new right-wing crew in there. And then the 34, and then the last one he signed on April 3rd. But he signed a whole batch of them today even, which nullifies the Federal Communications Commission's rule on privacy of customers in broadband and other telecommunication services. And those now people can, just go right into your business. Yeah, this is appalling. And let's see what else we get. Oh yeah, every dictator that ever took over this nation, Franco in Spain, the list goes on and on, Mussolini, Stalin, they all, first off, made the enemy the press and the artists, the arts. Homosexuals, of course, they had the pink triangles. I was getting vibrations of in '75 when Franco died, and there was like a renaissance for a while in Spain. But I hear now I don't know what's going on as well in Barcelona, but it's more democratic now. The arts it's a beautiful city, and that's happened since '75 because I was there in '75, and I remember that after this. Their version of Donald Trump. He makes Donald Trump look like an angel. Donald Trump makes Franco look like an angel, but Donald Trump is bad news. He's a bad man. He's just bad to the bone. Oh, here's America's chart. Let's see where all this action is. Oh yeah, this eclipse happened in our 10th house, America's 10th house, right near our Saturn. Yep, yep, yep. All this Virgo energy now is on our Neptune. As I said on my last show, now that we're in this get it fixed, we could depend on Virgo to get to the bottom of this. And I'll tell you, just as we don't understand, but it's a gift how we got Donald Trump. There's definitely no doubt of mine that Robert Mueller is a godsend. So I don't want to hear anything bad about Mueller. So many people, put Facebook stuff on me, and I have to delete so much because to me, anybody who doesn't see Mueller as the saving grace that's going to, totally get us out of this. I've done, when I see that video of, they're showing it over again of Hillary Clinton film with Donald Trump stalking her. She's walking around the stage and she just ignores him and let it happen. If she had turned around and just went outpatient on him, we'd have, but it didn't happen for a reason. The throat chakra rules all the chakras. I want to say something about it. I lighted on it last time, but Larry Dossey's, if you're really into what I'm saying about modern day curses, listen to what Dr. Larry Dossey, D-O-S-S-E-Y, I forget, one of his books or lectures, figured it out, but he taught, if you really, because it really does make sense how even people we love, who love us and don't want any harm to come to us, do not understand about the power of the throat chakra, and they totally, say, poor Mary Beth. Like I say, your husband leaves her, and she's got 3 kids, and she's going through a healing crisis, and it's not, it's like all healing crises, it's a crisis for a reason, and instead of helping her by saying that and affirming that, oh yeah, this is a good thing, she should have been out of that marriage anyway, and the angels will help her, or start affirming that kind of stuff. They say, poor this one, and they project she'll never get another placement. These are all like not helping this person, or like a lot of people are trying to get pregnant, and people who love them will say, oh my because people just like to talk, they hear the sound of their own voice, and they just talking crap, and just to hear themselves talk, they talk about, my granddaughter is having so much trouble getting pregnant, and talk about, and then they go, and she's going to have a lot more trouble because you got a grandmother like you stupid old woman. I'm not bashing grandmothers, but get some knowledge, people. Get some knowledge. Work on your diet. What you put in your mouth becomes your vibrations. So, it's all about frequencies and vibrations. So move it up a few chakras, first 3 chakras, power, sex, money. Move it up through the heart, then up here, and everything will come smelling like a rose. I love you. I did the best I could today. I don't know how much I got, but I'll be back, God willing. And God bless America. Let's remind ourselves. Let's get some gratitude going for where we are. I love you. Namaste. Bye.